Well, I got accepted
Where
to a
you
couple of
worked?
colleges,
Okay.
and but I didn't go. What happened was I ended up getting a job at AAA, like I say, through my mom,
Right, like you
and
said, right.
man, I got that job, and before you know it, I was actually it was a subsidiary of excuse me, of AAA. It was a rental company called Auto Member Leasing, and so AAA had that set up inside their office, just in case you have an accident, you can come right over to me and get a rental car. So anyway, I became a manager and got my own office for a few
Mhm,
years, and I did that. I'm talking, I'm 19, I briefcase suits,
mhm.
and dressed up every day. And that was part of my makeup anyway, because I learned that from some of the gangsters in my neighborhood with Southwest Detroit, man. And they
See?
were
See?
they were really, I'm talking about gabardines, I'm talking about Borsellini hats, and that was always intriguing to me. My grandfather, he wore suits to the grocery store,
Mhm, mhm.
so that's why I'm a dresser to this day. I take that very, very serious, and it's
And
like,
I love that.
yeah, when you
A
have a
well-dressed man,
conversation,
oh my god, they don't
I love it.
understand,
I
Quentin.
love it,
They don't
man. So
understand how, a well-dressed man who smells good,
yeah,
oh god,
yeah, yeah,
that's
you have to.
priceless.
You have
Yeah.
a conversation with someone before you have a conversation before you even open up your mouth. When you see
Yeah.
someone that look nice or smell good, or man, he dressed nice. And I always give compliments to women and men who are dressed, and you take pride in that, man. Like, you
Absolutely.
know, yeah, you take pride in it. So yeah, yeah. Shout out to the guys that I grew up watching and emulating and things of that nature. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so you did that for a few years.
yeah, yeah,
So now, because of course, you have to have a steady income. Steady income,
yeah,
have
yeah.
medical benefits you need dental. So
Mhm.
because because we'll get into the acting part too, because we're going to segue into that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the acting and you may have a bunch of movies under your belt like you do, but
mhm,
there's some downtime in between that. It can
yeah,
go, sometimes you got to ride the wave, and a lot of
yeah,
times there's some
yeah,
downtime there. So you
yeah,
got to make sure that you able to generate some income in between
yeah.
because
Well, you
sometimes,
know what? What's crazy
you
is
know,
being in Southwestern. I used to go. It was a class called woodshop back in the day. They no longer have
right?
that. I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
don't.
of.
Yeah, they
Man,
don't.
I learned how to really, really deal with wood. I mean, competition. I made dressers. I made
Right.
cabinets and all that. So, around in 2004, I started resurfacing and staining hardwood floors. So
Right.
I started doing that. But at this particular point, after I left the AAA, I went to a medical lab, and that was one of the best jobs I ever had because we was transportation, and the guys that I was with, we had a ball. And then I left there and went to Chrysler, and that's where my kid's mom and I met there. And I started doing hardwood floors around in 2004, and I still do them to this day. That's like something to fall back on.
Great. Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
it's very physical. Honestly, it's hard to find good helpers. It's hard to find good workers, man. People say they want to work, but then when they see how physical it is, they like, no, I can't do this.
Mhm.
But it's very. I mean, you get paid good, but it's physical. The first couple of days is physical. So you really have to want to do it. And one thing about your dream or your business, you can't get people to feel the way you feel about your dream. I have people trying to count my pockets, like, why he getting this or why he getting, well, this is my company, and I'm hiring you,
Right.
and I'm giving
I
you,
was
I'm,
gonna
I'm,
say
I'm
these
putting money in
contractors.
your pocket.
Yeah. What is with these contractors, Quentin? Like, what is with these contractors? That's so like just
So,
shady and
yeah,
what is with them?
yeah.
Yeah, and so how did you so you have all these trades and
hmm
you're able to build from all these trades and so
hmm
how they go from that into acting? Like what made acting your thing? Like what was it? There had to be something there that why
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
why acting? That's what I say. That's my point. Why acting?
Well, like I said, I was throwing parties, throwing events, and I still dabble and dab in that. I'm a host. Like, I host events. I'm the one that gets you out on the floor. I'm the one that with the
Yes,
microphone and stuff like that. That's by
yes,
nature. I've been doing that for so
I can
long,
see you
and
doing that.
and
Yes, yes, I can
yeah,
see
I
that.
love it. I love it. I actually kind of like pick and choose what I want to do now. You got to be those black tie events. It got to be those grown folk events. You know what I mean?
Sporting
So
events. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but as far as the acting, a playwright came to one of my events that I was having, and I was hosting and stuff like that. So afterwards, matter of fact, his name is Mark Hunter. After that, he said, "Hey man, have you ever tried acting or anything like that?" I'm like, "No, I went to Spec Howard's. We did it a little bit here and there, but I said for the most part, no." And he said, "Man, I may have something for you." And he put me in a play called Let It Burn. That was 2014,
Mm.
and it was a main role. And I'm like, I'm talking about scared. I didn't
Have
even know if I could pull
experience.
this off.
Oh, I'm
You
I'm
know?
sorry. I'm gonna cut you off, Quinn. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. So other than your experience at junior high, did you have any other acting experience? Did you have any work? Did you do
No,
any workshops or
no,
anything
just
before? So you just
just the plays I was in, and then like I say, Spec Howard's. I went for radio, and then we did some acting there. We did a whole plethora of things. We did like the newscasting, we did the radio show, we did so that was just like a bunch of people just coming in from different angles, different spirits, different nationalities, and we were just all together, meshed up, and just trying to figure it out.
absolutely.
So other than that, um I would do the voiceovers for all our events. So
Mm,
I had that in my bag and everything. But as far as acting, no, that would be the first thing I did was Let It Burn, to that level. And he threw me out there with the wolves, man. And theater, I tell everybody, man, theater people, now see me say, "Hey, can you put me in a Tubi movie?" And my question to them is, do you want to act or do you want to be seen?
when we right, right. 'Cause they
And
always want that hookup. They
you
always
want
want to
that.
try
They want to
to
be
get
seen because they ain't
yeah,
ready. They ain't ready
yeah.
for this.
No.
It's a show. It takes a humble person. It takes time. It takes time away from your family, everything, man. And I tell them you should try theater first. Try theater.
Ooh,
You know,
oh goodness. That really would determine whether or not you really want to do this because
try
theater
theater.
is no joke at
It's no
all.
joke. I love it. I love it. I try to do a theater every year to keep my sword
Right.
sharpened.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
yes. That's
yeah.
the best way because you have to you have to do like how many shows you do a week? I mean, can you give us a rundown of that of your experience in the theater?
With theater, you would do. The most I've done is 4 shows, in the weekend. Now you have some theater that they doing shows every night. I have a good friend of mine, Omri Franklin, and he might go on a 2-3 month run. He do more theater than TV. He's been on some of the major networks and stuff, but he really theater. And in theater, I mean, just no do overs. At the end of the day, the crowd don't know you mess up, so you got to keep it going. You got to keep it moving. So, you know, um, theater is just if you listen to Denzel Washington, he'll tell you you'll become an actor from theater, not from film.
True.
And if you look at Fences, Fences was theater, and you can see it. You can see it was theater, and that's one of the things that I make sure that I specify and I talk about is theater because people don't want to do theater because only people that see you is the people in that theater, opposed to going on Tubi and you being seen. Okay, you in a movie, you being seen. That don't mean that you really act good in that scene.
Mhm.
You're there. You got a lot of people that's doing films for the first time, and you have to start somewhere. So I'm not down at anyone. I'm just saying, a lot of times in film, people don't tell the truth. They don't tell
Mm.
the truth. You say, how did you like this? And you don't want to hurt no one's feelings or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
So you don't tell the truth, and which you should. Which you should, because how you going to get better?
How else they gonna right? Because how else they gonna know what
Yeah,
they need to improve on? You
yeah.
know, if they
Mhm.
really take it seriously, they gotta understand the constructive
Gotta understand
criticism.
the constructive criticism. You have
Yeah,
to, and not
yeah,
be defensive. You just go and do your. Everybody is really, with this internet thing. Everybody attention span is short. You
yeah,
move, you
yeah.
move, you move. Do your research, do your homework. Go actually be attached to someone who they may have a library, a catalog, and they've been doing it for a minute, and you could just learn the game. You want to jump out there and this, that, and others. Like, no, just learn the game and be patient, man, and make sure you just ask questions and just be involved. People just want to jump out and they want to say, "I made a movie. I'm doing a movie," and it's like, hey man, are you really dedicated to this? Are you really, really, really dedicated to this? So, and it is people. It is. Shout out to everybody that's done a film. Shout out to everybody because that part alone takes dedication and writing and seeing it all the way through. Like I said before. So yeah.
Yeah, and so what is so Quentin, so now you gave us the rundown about theater. So
Mhm.
now how did you can you give us bullet points of how you transitioned into film? How did it start for you? Do you remember your first film, and how did that just, how did that catapult you as of
Yeah.
right now, as far as acting
Um.
goes? And kind of give us oh, never mind. I'll say that one. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, and I've told this story many times. Shout out to the godmother of all this, the theater and the film, and rest in peace. Her name is Melissa Talbot. We call her Missy. And she was like
Wait a minute.
anybody
Her
in the film.
name sound
Any,
familiar. I'm sorry. Her name sound familiar. Is she related to David E. Talbot? Is she any relation
no,
to
no,
him?
no. I don't. You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But she was like the backbone. Everybody that come in contact with her, man, it was just like she is the godmother of this, man. And so she she would tell me to, and you know what's so crazy is I've never been in any of her plays, her stage plays, or what that's where they started from. She would tell me to keep going to do this. And I also want to shout out playwright Jay McLean because she keeps theater alive, and I do I do a theater with her once a year. But so when I'm going back to Melissa, it's a group that's on production company that's here now that I do a lot of work with, and one of my biggest roles, which is Deck OG Deck from H Block, Moolah Films. I did their class, which what Thomas, coach, we call him coach. And we were in a play together back in 2014. We traveled to Atlanta. I'm talking about plays we didn't get paid for. I mean, we just out there grinding, you know. A lot of people don't get a chance to experience that. I don't want people to not get paid, but that's part of the grind. That's part
Yeah.
of what
Mhm.
brings you to the point where you at now in development. So anyway, I took that class and I was the worst in that class. I mean, I when it came time for my final, and where you had to do a monologue in front of, I mean, it was Murder Payne, it was Melissa, it was uh Debbie, it was Thomas, it was so many people that were producers at that time. So when you walked in that room, it was like you were nervous. I couldn't get my name out at
Mhm.
all, and they kicked me
Yeah.
out the room. X, you know. But someone out that class saw something in me, and that is Legend Ken Legend Williams. He saw something in me and asked me to be in his movie called Asbury Park, which is on Tubi. I think it's on Tubi now. And he put me in that, and he put me alongside the great Nunu Thurman, and she is a
Yes.
beast, and she
Yes.
comes from theater,
Mhm.
and you can see that in her
Yes.
performances. And
Mhm.
he partnered me up with her, and she just gave me so much confidence, and she coached me through the scenes and everything. And from that point on, it's been on and on and on. And then I was in Rotten, which is Tanja Ayers. It's a shoe
Yes.
lady. That's her. I was in
Yes.
Rotten, and
Mhm.
I got that job because her brother, which is a rest in peace, her brother is deceased, and Melissa asked her to, hey, think about Q and research Q, and then she looked through my Facebook page and she saw a picture of her brother and I, and she was like,
Wow.
"That's it. That's it." She was like, "That's the confirmation right there." And I've been rocking with Tanja, and you got Rocky, and you got Janaea Black, and all of that whole camp over there. I've been rocking with them for many years. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hmm.
So it started from there. And so in your own words, in your own perspective, Quentin, what makes you that person? What makes you cut out for the role? Let me start there. What makes you the one?
Because you know what, I'm just determined to get better and better. It's just something, and I'm kind of late in the game. It's never too late, but I'm kind of late in the game for this. But I just listened to someone was talking to um, Steve Harvey, and excuse me, let me hold on one second.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. Talking to Steve Harvey, and he was thinking Steve Harvey for all the accolades and everything that he had going on and things of that nature. And he was saying like, man, you've been doing all this good things and comedian, and you Kings of Comedy. He said, yeah. He said, I started all that at 53. And
Mm.
I'm like, 53. He's like, yeah, that was when I was 53. And so that gave me the confidence because I'm 53. And I always feel that because when I go on set, I'm the
No,
oldest,
you're not. You know,
you
you're
know,
39, you're 35.
maybe you have a few cats maybe a little older than me. Can you hold on one second? I have my phone about to die. I'm gonna walk you
Oh,
through.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah, you gotta, you gotta
yeah, I'm walk you through and get to
walk
my
me through it, yeah. Yeah,
okay, here we go. I get to my yeah. So yeah, I was listening to that and was like, okay, listening to that, and I'm like, that gave me inspiration. As far as thinking I'm always the older guy, this, that, and other. But what give me the drive is I love it. Like I really, really, really love it. And I'm, everybody their own critic. So, you're critiquing yourself all the time. But for me, I just I feel like I'm one of the ones that has the ability to change. Like I can cut my beard off. I can play a cop. I can't say I can. I played a cop. I played a doctor. I played a lawyer. I played the judge. And actually, in the last play with Melissa, we were going. I was playing God. Actually,
mm,
So I can play many roles. You know, Even by being this age, I can cut my beard down and play a younger guy. I can play an older guy. So it's different things you can do with me. I have a role coming up where I have a man unit on. So it's the waves, brush waves, it's salt and pepper
okay.
brush waves, and so I have to my repertoire. It's many facets of this acting game. You can't what do you call that when they try to categorize you in one
Box,
role?
typecast.
Typecast. Yeah, I couldn't get that out. Typecast.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, for a person my age, that's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play the doctor. I'm going to play the lawyer. I'm going to play, because
That's all right.
because you need somebody need to play a father. Somebody got to play a police officer. Somebody. So I was listening to Denzel and what's her name? She always played a mother. Jennifer Lewis, is
Jennifer
it?
Lewis, yes,
She
yes.
say I play the mother all the time, but she says, you know what? I'm gonna play the mother all the time. And she's like, each time I play it, I'm gonna play it to. So I took that as, you know what? Don't say I played a police officer 8 or 9 times. No, each time that you do it, you add something to it. You might add a limp to it. You
Mhm.
might add stuttering to it. You might add, excuse me, I'm not trying to um demean anybody or anything like that,
No,
man. But
no,
you
I
just
get it,
you
I
just
get it.
yeah,
Yeah,
you add the character to that role so it can stand out from the last time you played a police officer. Yeah.
absolutely. And so, Quentin, can you give, as, someone in your field, and you mentioned about, people trying to, use nepotism or try
Mhm,
to use your connection. So can you give
mhm.
us, some cliff notes on what some tips on how to excel in this field, like can you give in your own words some cliff notes of how what advice would you give that person that's really hungry for this.
Um, you really have to be dedicated. You have to sacrifice. I mean, I've been on set 20 hours, you know.
Mm,
Anything in life, and it's one word really that I really go by. Anything in life that you need to do, you have to have consistency. You have to have consistency. You have to be with parenting, I mean, work, I mean, anything that you do in life that you want to see results from, consistency, and you have to just sacrifice and study. I mean, if you want to get better at anything, man, you have to, like I say, I'm supposed to go out, but I opt out
yes,
so I can
that's
study the
right.
script, and you have to do that. You have to sacrifice, and for someone that's trying to come up in the film, take classes, take classes. You have the best of the
Mhm.
best. You have people that's in Hollywood that still have acting coaches, you
Oh
know.
yeah, you definitely got to keep your skills sharp. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. And theater, hit that stage.
yes, yeah, that
Yeah,
stage.
man.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, hit that stage. So yeah, yeah. I think those once you hone in and you get that confidence. I remember, I would say this. I remember when I first got into the film industry, and I would see like Diesel, Camille. I would see King Wesley. I would see Murder Payne. I would really, really be nervous when I'm first coming to the game because these guys, I'm looking at these guys like, oh my God, they now if we in a scene together, I'm trying to tear your head off. I'm trying to,
Right,
you
right.
know what I mean? I'm
Hey,
trying to
girl,
like,
nothing
yeah,
personal. It's business. It's business.
yeah. And what's crazy is because they all gave me confidence to say, hey man, you one of those ones. And I'm like, I really appreciate that because I really look up to everybody. They do anything. Even some guys or women that come in after me, I still look. I give them that talk. Like, man, I was right there where you were, and it was so crazy. When I spoke on the Mulak films, the acting class where I was nervous and stuff like that. Now I'm one of the guys, the actors that they call to critique the new people that's coming in. So it's like full circle. And so right before they do their audition that I had to do, I go talk to them and say, hey, man, I was right here where you guys are now. I know the nervousness that you're feeling. I know the anxiety. Just take a deep breath and just look at me. I'm
Mhm.
a recipient of this. And when you look at me, you be like, man, you be in everything, man. You do this, man. Hey, I was right here where you guys were, where you guys are. So I'm telling you, and they really appreciate that.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
will, and I know that you appreciate that as well because it keeps your skills on you
yeah,
constantly it's
yeah,
constantly pressure
yeah,
when you're coaching others. It's like
yeah.
you keeping your skills home. And
Mm-hmm.
so let me ask you also, so when you say that you have all, this range,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to play multiple characters. So
Mm-hmm.
what is one of the roles you want to play that you haven't played yet?
I have two actually. One of my roles that I really been studying for, I've been doing, looking at the videos and going over his voice and trying to get it. I don't have it yet, so I won't do any of the roles until I get his voice. But I want to play Mayor Coleman Young. I want to play Mayor Coleman Young. I feel like I have the chops to do it. Mayor Coleman Young, he didn't hold his tongue. He dressed to the nine. He wore those hats, and I feel that I can do it. That's my dream role. And then I would like to play a role that I haven't been attached to, and that's like a bipolar schizophrenic.
Mm,
I would like to
mm,
play that. I've seen that, close to the family, growing up, and I just want to do something that would have me go into a really, really, really study um, session with the character,
mm.
and yeah, really do research, because when you're doing like I played Deep, I played the movie Deep, and that was a bio about a guy named Robert Murphy, and that was his story, and he actually became assistant general manager of the Pistons. We went to school together. He always played basketball, was a coach and everything, so he got to assistant general manager of the Pistons, and he got hit with a sexual harassment case. So
Mm.
I played him. I had to cut my beard off and everything because he had no facial hair. Um, so when you're doing someone's bio, you have to really dig and learn their mannerisms and learn everything.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
sending you into the research. That takes that because look at Jamie Foxx. You wasn't even looking at Jamie. You was looking at who he played. Oh my God, I'm sitting here tripping.
Right.
Right. That you didn't even see Jamie. You saw Ray Charles. You saw Ray Charles because he was able to be with him every day and learn his manner. He wore he had the I forgot what you call it, where they had his eyes
Yeah,
closed.
ice cold, yeah, glue, yeah, glue, I think glue
Yeah,
shut.
for a
Mhm.
portion of the day so he can get all that. So when you're doing someone like that, man, and if you look at some of the Oscars, you see it was people that played someone, you know, um, and it's just like that's those two there because being the schizo and the bipolar, that's totally opposite of me. And so acting is being vulnerable. You have to let yourself be able to be vulnerable and take yourself out the character because it's not about you, it's about the character. And then with the Mayor Coleman Young, that was just man, Mayor Coleman Young was gangster. Mayor
Mhm.
Coleman Young, he wouldn't let the state get anything or have anything to do with the city. All that, man. And him and Bill Bonds used to go at it back in the day, and he would say what's on his mind, and he was just so fly, man. So I don't know why that story haven't been brought to life. I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone that's close to the family, but I
Mhm.
would really love to do that.
Oh, okay, and,
Yeah.
hopefully let's make that happen.